For so many years, I have just really.
Yet again, for such countless years, I have never a statement of regret. Steve never said that he was sorry he had our maid right when we figured things could settle down. It's an out-and-out embarrassment, Marjorie Harvey, the focal point of consideration. This time has been creating all in all a ruckus, with gossipy tidbits about disloyalty twirling around her, purportedly betraying the charming Steve Harvey. Yet clutch your caps in light of the fact that Steve himself has ventured into the spotlight to put any misinformation to rest. He's assumed control over issues and proclaimed that that large number of succulent bits of gossip aren't only a heap of untruths. Surmas will need to repeat those tricking charges essentially until the following VIP stunner drops. And who could fail to remember the virtual entertainment chief disaster? Seems like difficulty can't avoid the Harvey tribe, yet dread not as a knight in sparkling protective layer, or rather a Nigerian financial specialist named Ned Nwalko. Additionally, a dear companion of Steve Harvey, has acted the hero he's dipped in to disperse the phony news cloud approaching over the Harveys. As per him, he had an honest conversation with Steve and got the full scoop. It turns out Marjorie and Steve are cruising without a hitch, and those shameful murmurs are probably all around as obvious as a unicorn locating Nwako. Likewise tweeted counterfeit news has been taken higher than ever all around the world. And this is so lamentable we experience this, essentially consistently thus, when we read about our companion Steve Harvey and his exquisite spouse having issues. We needed to get in touch with him. He affirmed that he and his significant other are a lot of okay. And it's all phony information and ought to be ignored. The family is glad, and we want them to enjoy all that life has to offer. The Harvey family is no more bizarre to the shocking murmurs of treachery. And it seems to be the dramatization simply continues to come lock in light of the fact that the most recent scoop on the road is more sweltering than any time in recent memory. Rumors from far and wide suggests that the power couple Steve and Marjorie Harvey are confronting some stunning advancements in their relationship. Prepare yourselves for this sensation. Word on the grapevine is that Steve was beforehand good to go to express farewell to Marjorie and hide his supposed well-established fire, who helpfully serves as his confidential gourmet specialist. You heard that right? The alleged side chick is mixing something other than the pots and skillet in the Harvey kitchen. And who's the wellspring of this hazardous disclosure? In all honesty, the famous Tasha K, who's taken her web recording directly to Instagram to let the cat out of the bag. As per her, Steve's been playing a risky ground of cheating, acquainting his alleged culinary virtuoso with the family while keeping her nearer than anybody understood. Assuming that Tasha's cases are to be accepted, it seems as though Steve may be concocting something beyond tasty feasts in secret. Yet stand by before we make a plunge into the outrage pool. We should bring a second to chill off media, take out the carefully prepared investigators of VIP tattle. Presently can't seem to uncover any substantial proof to back up Tasha's sizzling charges. And there's dependably that always steadfast insider who's blasting the air pocket by pronouncing no, it's false 0% chance she's lying on them. Well, dislike Tasha is extremely honest. Tasha's digital recording may be an exciting ride of bits of hearsay, yet not all that sparkles is gold. Take, for example, the confrontation with hip jump eminence Cardi B. The two conflicted in a fight in court that left Tasha owning up to turning networks of lies about the hotshot media. Take out the VIP investigators, have their amplifying glasses out. They've dove carelessly into the wreck and done some recovering, coming to sources who are in the loop. Yet in addition, not to fail to remember that Steve's past has been very vivid in regards to conning after his separation from his most memorable wife, Marcia. He burned through no time and supposedly started seeing his second wife, Mary Shackelford, even before his separation was concluded. Discussion about a chaotic circle of drama. At first everything appeared to be agreeable, yet their once completely flawless marriage immediately disintegrated, leaving Mary With a harsh desire for her mouth, she let it all out and freely blamed Steve for going behind her back with. In all honesty, Marjorie yet stand by there's all the more never a statement of regret. Steve never said that he was sorry he had our maid get his possessions together and forward those effects to New York. And after that, that was all there was to it. When we went when the time had come to go under the watchful eye of the appointed authority Steve didn't show up, I was remaining there alone with his lawyer, essentially the lawyer that was addressing us. He didn't show, and the appointed authority said, okay, you're separated from that. Was that the not having conclusion part was truly obliterating Mary. Even had instant messages to back up her unstable cases. The outrage sent shockwaves through the Tattle plant, leaving everybody pondering exactly how profound the snare of treachery really goes now, with Marjorie close by the copying question. Remains might she at any point be the one to at long last break the pattern of selling out that has tormented Steve's previous connections. Some could contend that karma is finding Marjorie, yet the fact of the matter is the show runs considerably more profound. Not exclusively was Steve purportedly untrustworthy to Mary Lee, yet it seems he likewise investigated every possibility. When it came to removing everything from her reports, proposed that he stripped her of her extravagant way of life and the lovely house they once shared, and amazingly even controlled their child Winton. As a parent, how would you quit having that horrible? How would you quit contemplating how would you do that? I right up to the present day. I've not so Steve never at any point came to you, to one or the other attempt to reach you to examine anything about you and Winton, or no guardianship of Winter. The very first moment it was about I will would what I like to do. I will disregard each appearance request that you have, and you won't fail to address it, since no one will pay attention to you. I was unessential the subtleties of this tragic disclosure. Our genuinely stunning Steve's supposed treachery didn't appear to stop at unfaithfulness. He took extraordinary measures to guarantee that Mary Lee was left with nothing following the claims of betrayal control. And the deficiency of their child, Mary Lee, likewise blamed Steve for physical and mental maltreatment. These serious allegations sent shockwaves through the Tattle factory, leaving everybody pondering exactly the way in which profound the murkiness goes in Steve's past connections. Accordingly, Steve made a legitimate move against Mary, unhesitatingly denying her cases and excusing them as unjustifiable and silly endeavors to demolish his standing Steve, then reconnected with Marjorie in 2007. Not long after separating from Mary Lee, in spite of their wrecked past, they wedded not long after for such countless years. I have supermanaged such a lot of harassing from Steve from his group from his campum. I vary by and by can't carry on with my life under the umbrella of dread. I have been in dread for such a long time since I've been harassed in the court of Texas. And now I simply decide not to be harassed any longer. I decide not to be tormented on the grounds that it's too genuinely obliterating for me. It resembles strolling around in my life. And anyway, in a stunning development, Steve Harvey, the charming host himself, found his show veering off in a strange direction when a candidate named Darlene made a stunning case that she and Steve had been something beyond cordial for an incredible 12 years now. We as a whole know Steve sealed the deal with his third spouse, Marjorie, back in 2007, yet Darlene's disclosures were sufficient to leave both Steve and the Live Studio crowd confused afterward on, as per a report from Radar Online sources. Guarantee that Marjorie has found out about these supposed issues and has cautioned Steve to avoid Chris, the alleged trap among Steve. And Chris has swayed tongues and filled the Tattle sections with shameful stories. It's basically impossible that Marjorie planned to tolerate Steve staying nearby an alpha predator like Chris, particularly since he's demonstrated consistently he can't be believed. The source asserted insiders presently uncover that Steve's supposed comfort with Kris Jenner during shut entryway conferences, steady calls, and relentless instant messages has pushed Marjorie to her limit anyway. Discussing Marjorie, Even she isn't any good individual, it appears to be that Marjorie Harvey could have a more going on under the surface. Some not exactly complimenting subtleties arise when the spotlight isn't on her completely flawless life. It's been murmured that Marjorie's contribution with Steve didn't begin the most righteous note, as she was purportedly caught with her then husband at that point. However, stand by there's all the more even in the wake of venturing into the spectacular existence with Steve and laying out a ruddy picture. It appears to be Marjorie's been playing an alternate tune in the background. Blabbermouthy murmurs have been zooming around, recommending that the exquisite Mrs. Harvey has been getting more than comfortable with. In all honesty, Steve's own guardian, the overwhelming William Enormous Blast Freeman, on the off chance that you haven't heard us sneak around